on this computer. And I think we are good to go as of this point. All right, guys. Welcome to the official players meeting for the 2024 Midtown, presented by Cattle Inc. and Town of Cary, and sponsored by Beer Study. As you can see, it's me, Logan Staten, even though my name says Stacy Keats on here. Sorry, I should have fixed that before we started this. I am your tournament director for the event. Robert Leonard, Jay Pontier are the assistant TDs for this event. Lou Uraney is also an assistant TD for this event. He is going to be at Middle Creek on Saturday, and with Robert at Jones Park on Sunday. Me and Jay will be at Diavolo all weekend. Real quick, just wanted to say thank you for signing up. Thank you for playing. It's the 17th year of the Midtown. It's the first time that it's been a Pro-Am A tier since 2012. So for the last 12 years. So that's super exciting. You know, it shows the growth of disc golf in our area, the growth of the sport, and the continued growth of cattle. And it's an awesome thing. So, Jay, Robert, do either one of you want to say anything before I go into the sponsors?
Just welcome everybody. Look forward to seeing every one of you this weekend. Have a great tournament. We hopefully have a lot of great coverage, and birdies for all. Really appreciate you all signing up.
Robert, you want anything? Or are you good?
Yeah, I mean, myself and Justin Jernigan started this tournament 17 years ago, and with my role at the PDGA now, I just was unable to give the tournament the attention it deserves, and so big props to Logan for keeping it going and cattle support behind the scenes to make that happen. So I'm honored that I'm going to be able to be here this year, and really looking forward to see how it plays out.
Cool. Big shout out to Beer Study. Beer Study has sponsored several Basket Bashers events over the past couple of years, so we're super excited to have them become a cattle supporter and sponsor this awesome cattle event. Their donation of $3,000 to the event is one of the many reasons why it's an A tier. That is one of the biggest difficulties in running an A tier is getting the added cash for it, and uh, they really wanted to be a part of it and signed up. So please support them this week. It is Beer Study Durham. If you're looking it up on Google Maps or something like that, we have a huge player party going on there Friday night. Awesome food, live music. They have a brewery on site, and then they carry other breweries as well. Over 20 drafts to pick from there at Beer Study, and then Boot Room, which is the same owners where of Beer Study. They share a wall. They have drafts as well. So I think it's 28 drafts in all between those two buildings. So please go show them your support this weekend. Dirty Birdie is a new startup company out of Michigan. Really good guys, and they have hit the ground running with some really amazing products. And they have supplied the player pack items for this weekend for the event. So you will have a custom cattle mini with the cattle logo engraved on it, a Dirty Birdie golf towel, and Dirty Birdie bird sauce, which is liquid chalk, and then a $30 voucher to the Basket Bashers store for all your disc and custom needs. It's a huge shout out to Dirty Birdie. Please show them some love as well. And then lastly, Town of Cary and the town of Holly Springs. Town of Cary's always allowed us to use these courses for free for this event, and their continued support of growing the sport and building cattle is why these courses exist and why we're able to have a major here in September. So please show them thanks. If you see a Town of Cary staff member, tell them thank you. But more importantly, please clean up after yourself and try and keep these parks awesome and beautiful. Um, that's all I got for the spiel. Let's get into the guts of the tournament. Thursday, we will have tee times posted by 6 p.m. Eastern time. Along with that, we will also have all the starting holes for amateurs who are starting on Saturday posted as well. Okay. We've gotten a lot of questions about that. Friday, all the pro divisions, we're going to tee off at Diavolo. All players must be at their starting hole no later than 5 minutes before tee times. If you are late, it is a 2-stroke penalty. That is not debatable. Okay. This is a new rule the PDGA has put into place for this year. They first implemented this past weekend at chess.com. Several I cannot talk, pro players got dinged on it there. We're going to ding you on it here. Okay. This is, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. Please be punctual that you are at your starting hole. I shouldn't say starting hole, at the hole that you are starting on with your tee time no later than 5 minutes before your scheduled tee time. Early check-in will be Friday at Diavolo for all AM players. You can pick up your player packs there as well. On Saturday, pro divisions are going to be playing Jones Park. All players must be, again, at the starting hole. You're going to see that a lot in this email that this is getting sent out in. We cannot reiterate that enough. B pool will start at Diavolo at 9 a.m. D pool will be MA1, MA40, and MA50. C pool will be all other divisions, amateur divisions. They will tee off at Middle Creek at 10 a.m. So please make sure you know what pool you are in because start times are different. Check-in will be 8:30 to 9:30 there. If you are starting at Diavolo, please pick up your player pack before the round. If you are starting at Middle Creek, you will get your players pack at Diavolo during round 2. Please, again, try and get your player pack before the start of the round. Okay. That may mean that you have to drive up to Tournament Central, grab it, then go across the road to overflow parking and park. Please make sure that you are getting your player packs from me before the round. All right. On Sunday, all pro players will tee off at Diavolo. All amateur players will tee off at Jones Park. Sunday is tee times for everybody. This means that the 5-minute rule applies for everybody. Okay. Everybody will have tee time Sunday. So the 2-stroke penalty for the 5-minute delay applies for everybody. We are trying out a new playoff loop this year. It's called the playoff aggregate. Okay, what that means is that it is not sudden death immediately. Okay, so for Diavolo, the playoff aggregate will consist of hole 12 and hole 22. What that means is, however many of you are in a playoff for first place, play hole 12 and play hole 22. Whoever is leading at that point is the winner. If there is not a leader at that point, then it becomes sudden death on those same 2 holes. And I'm not going to go into all the details of that now. We'll cross that bridge if that occurs this weekend, but just understand that's how that kicks off. Jay, Robert, y'all have anything to add so far? Before I keep going. All right. Trophy tiebreakers. We do have trophies for each division. First place trophies only for MPO. For amateurs, we have the trophy requirements that the PDGA puts in place. So some divisions have 1, some divisions have 2, some divisions have 3 trophies. For trophy tiebreakers, we will do a virtual playoff. What that means, and I put an example of this in this email, but what that means is that everybody's going to start on the same hole Sunday, right? Because it's tee times. So if I go 3-3-3 and Robert goes 3-3-2, Robert has won the playoff because he birdied before I did during the final round. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. That's what trophy tiebreakers mean. Now, all that means is that he gets the second place trophy and I get the third place trophy. We still tie for second overall in the event. Okay, that does not change. I did attach the rule sheet to this email. Please keep in mind this is subject to change because of unforeseen circumstances, okay? But as of right now, the rule sheet that's in the email is exactly what is in PDGA Digital, okay? Other than that, I'm going to go into each individual course here and go over a couple, not concerning things, but things I want to make sure I say out loud.
One quick thing, Logan.
Go ahead.
You skipped over the Jones Park playoff opportunity.
Okay.
So that will be aggregate with 4 and 11.
Thank you.
So just, and then if it does go into sudden death, it'll be those same 2 holes.
Cool. Let's see here. So for Saturday, all AM players can warm up as normal because you have shotgun starts. So you can warm up on the course up to 2 minutes before the round starts. For pros, you guys are playing Jones on Saturday. Well, for Diavolo on Friday, we will have a throwing net and practice baskets across the road from the course where the overflow parking is. On Saturday, all pros will be at Jones. So the throwing nets, the batting cages, and the pitching nets is what you can warm up on. We will have the practice basket available. Robert is bringing a basket that will be over by the batting cages, and then we are not playing hole 3 for this layout. So the basket at hole 3 is available for practice as well. On Sunday, go ahead.
And that's Jones Park you're
That's
referring
Jones
to.
Park. Yes, sir.
Yep.
And then Sunday, same thing for pros at Diavolo across the road, and same thing for AMs at Jones Park, batting cages, and those 3 baskets.
Yeah, one quick thing to add here, guys, is that let's say that you're one of the 8 o'clock tee times or 9 o'clock tee times, or maybe you get there at 11 o'clock and you see nobody's on hole 18. Once play has started, the course is closed for all practice. It's not fair that somebody has an early tee time and can warm up on hole 18 and then you're at the 2:30 tee time and cannot. So when you're having tee time rounds, you can only use these practice areas. You cannot use the course to practice on, just for, not only is that a PDGA rule, but that's just fairness. So everybody has the same opportunity to get ready for their round as everybody else.
We are running these courses a little bit differently for this event. Now, of course, this event is a practice event for Tim Zielinski this year. So as of right now, we are going to start at Middle Creek on hole 10. So Tournament Central at Middle Creek will be the pavilion with the picnic tables over by the restrooms next to hole 10. So you will play 10 through 18 and then 1 through 9. Excuse me,
Technically, yeah, there you go.
0 through 9.
0.
Well, you're going to skip 4.
Yeah, so you'll play 0, 1, 2, 3. You are playing from 3's tee pad to a long pin position on the left side of the fairway. You will skip hole 4. So once you play 3, you will go directly to 5's tee pad and play 5 through 9. All right.
Yeah, and since Middle Creek is shotgun only, you really won't really feel this effect. We just wanted to get a scoreable round and set up, because when we are doing tee times at Zielinski, that's how we're going to be doing it. So just go to your starting hole, whatever's assigned, play that same order. It'll feel like any shotgun start as any, but that is where Tournament Central is going to be closer to 10 as we set up for that loop, and that's where Lou Urani will be as the course director out there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we will have it in PDGA Digital. Like, it won't be hole 1; it'll be hole 0, 1, 2, 3, and then straight to hole 5. Correct?
It's set up as 10 through 18, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Jones Park, we are starting on hole 12. Hole 12 is the baseball field hole, the par 4. Robert will be the tournament director there. He will have a big PDGA tent. That will be Tournament Central. Okay. I already went over using the batting cages and pitching areas. So you will finish on hole 11. Okay. We're going to try and have some feather banners or something in that field for you guys as a little bit of wow effect this weekend. So keep that in mind. But yeah, hole 11 is where you will finish. Hole 12 is where you start. Anything else about Jones Park I'm missing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing when you're playing the shotgun. It's just going to look weird at digital scoring. It'll kind of flow and feel the same way. Remember, you're skipping hole 3, so you do have that awkward transition from 2 to 4. But we're also thinking that it's going to be a practice putting green for Zielinski, which is why we're skipping that. You don't have to throw over the entry road, especially with tee time, people coming in all the time, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're doing the tee time rounds, that will be the flow is 12 through 19, 1, 2, 4 through 11. And if you've never been to Jones Park or Middle Creek or what we're going to talk about at Diablo, like it's one of these things that makes way more sense when you see it than it sounds like. It's not confusing and it flows extremely well.
It'll probably make more sense to the people who haven't seen it because they haven't played it in
That's a really solid point.
The 1 through 19 that we're used to.
Yeah, just to pull the curtain back a little bit, whenever you play PDJ majors, it's extremely more common to play them out of order than it is the traditionally order. And you don't even realize it because it's just called 1 through 18. Like we will likely be renumbering these things for Selensky to match this flow. There's so many different challenges and logistical things with a major that is different than a regular event. And our goal for the Midtown this year was to really test and see how these things worked that we've been working with our PDJ contacts and Jay on. And so we appreciate the fact that digital scoring looks weird. This sounds a little weird. You have to pay attention a little bit. But it's really a good test run for that. And that's why we're doing it this way. But we are referring to all the holes this weekend as their actual hole number as we are familiar with it, which will not be the case come Selensky time.
Yeah, and as you brought that curtain back a little bit, it's multifaceted. It's not just about the playability of the course. As Robert said, some PDJ logistics and marketing and branding. It makes sense to have these finishing holes for, camera and videography. And so we're again testing these out. So again, it's not just the playability, it's the complete package. Thank you.
Absolutely. If you're familiar with Jones Park and you have not been there in the last month or so, there have been some changes to the park that will shock you when you first get there. So there's a very nice bridge that's been constructed on hole 1 that connects from one's basket to the parking lot. And then there's actually a pretty wide, I guess, walking path to the left of the entrance that runs along hole 2. Um, that kind of brings in a tighter OB now. So if you have not seen it before the event, I recommend you go over there and look at it. All right, Diavolo. Me and Jay will be at Diavolo. We will have the cattle tent set up right by hole 12. If you're familiar with where we typically put it in the parking lot, that's likely where it will be. Overflow parking is across the street. I meant to say this about Jones Park. Overflow parking for Jones Park is at the school, and then overflow parking for Middle Creek is at the community center. Also for Jones Park, when you first pull into Jones Park, there's a long stretch that you drive past the school before you get to this wooden fence where you have hole 2's basket and hole 3's tee pad. You are welcome to park on that stretch before you get to 2's basket and 3's tee pad on either side of the road. Okay, that is the overflow parking for Middle Creek and for Jones. For Diavolo, it is across the street. Like I said, we will have throwing nets available across the road. Use the practice baskets over there as well for putting and warm-ups. We are playing Diavolo a little bit differently because it'll have a really cool finishing effect to it. So we're going to start on hole 12, and we're going to play 18 Fusion. So there are people who are probably watching this who are going, what the heck is Fusion? Okay. Diavolo has 22 holes. So we have combined 8 of those holes to make 18 instead of 22. Okay. So you will play hole 12, then you will play hole 13 to 14's basket. Okay. If you've not seen the course, one of those things that'll make a lot more sense when you see it. We have T signs in place that are descriptive that kind of help you piece this together if you're seeing it for the first time. But you will play 12, 13, and 14 together. 15, 16, 17, and 18 you will play together. You will play hole 19, 20, 21. Then you will play 10 to 11. Is that correct?
Yes.
So Fusion 10 to 11. Then you will play hole 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 to 6 fusion, 7, 8, 9, and then 22 to finish off. Again, make more sense when you see it than it will be me explaining it on this. For those who play it a lot, you can kind of imagine how it shapes up. For those who are seeing it for the first time, when you see it, you'll go, "Holy crap, this is pretty insane to finish it this way." So, um,
Yeah, Logan, just a
but
note about the fusion holes. Fusion holes are just my design eye of establishing two par threes, designing them as par threes, as well as design the strategic par four that connects those two. So as Logan said, we have four representations of those over Diablo that we'll be leveraging.
hole 8 is an island green. What that means is you have to land on the island in order to be considered inbounds. Okay. If you do not land on the island, proceed to the drop zone. The drop zone will be, if you're looking at the hole, up to the left of the hole, putting down towards the pond. That's the only OB that, if you're used to playing these events, that we kind of typically don't have, um, that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. You
And
guys
it's
have
just to be super, super, super clear, come to rest. So if I hit the island and go off, I didn't make it. If I fly over the island, I didn't make it. If I land out of bounds and then roll in, I did make it. It's where it's come to rest. It's a simple yes or no. Did my disc come to rest in the island? Yes or no?
It is not last place inbounds. It is RU inbounds.
And we
Yep.
did receive a PDJ waiver for this hole, as well as the other holes throughout the event that are requiring waivers. And we did notate those in the rules just for over clarification.
Excellent. Well, guys, that is all that I have. Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to go into before we wrap this call up and say thank you?
Another big thanks to Logan. It's thanks for organizing all this. Thanks for taking it over. And thanks for all of you for playing it. The reason why the event is always successful is because y'all keep showing up. So we can do all this stuff behind the scenes and figure all this stuff out and ask Beer Study for money and all this. Nobody shows up, none of that matters. So thank y'all for showing up.
Yeah, so one thing is make sure um just one second. All right. Well, the ding sound didn't come over, but just remember, ding is not your friend. So if you hear the ding, you're late for your 5 minutes. As well, I want to thank all the cattle volunteers that have been helping us, not only tactically, but strategically for Zelensky and other events. Get Diavolo and the cattle courses updated. We were out here this weekend. We had a work day at Diavolo. Maury and Robert were taking care of the league updates for Sunday, and the rest of us were putting in the benches as well as creating the new T signs to fill out the course. So I think we have a total of 10 to 14 more benches to put in. So we're getting at the end of that length of duration of work for that as well. Jones Park, we just put in hole two's new white tee. We finished that on Sunday. So want to thank, the volunteers. Huge shout out. You guys do so much work and support myself, Robert, Logan, the cattle TDs, and the cattle community. So many, many thanks. And we're really blessed to have you in the community. So thank you.
And I'll add that, we have really marketed and pushed this event as a test event for Zelensky. We want Zelensky to be the result of everything that we have worked hard for. It's our first major here in Raleigh. Saying that is feedback, 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 feedback. Please give us feedback about courses, layouts, holes, flow, rules, feedback, 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 especially if you are 40 or over and going to be playing Zelensky. Feedback, feedback, feedback. This is why we're doing this. We want to make sure that by the time Zelensky rolls around, not that this event does not matter, that's not the case, but when this really, really, really matters and the eyes of the disc golf world are on Kerry, we want people to come back. We want the PDGA to say, man, that was awesome. When can we come back? So thank you all for that. And we need that feedback. We already got some feedback from the layout at league that we changed for this weekend. So like we do listen. And please give us that feedback.
Running events like Zelensky, Zelensky's a major, which is obviously a very important event, but running A tiers like this help us to run events like that one day help us run events like an amateur worlds or a pro worlds. Um, it's kind of like I don't want to say a stepping stone, but it's you know, you very rarely do you say, "Hey, I've never run a major before. I want to go run a pro worlds and win that bid." So, um, we want to make sure we knock this thing out the park. We want to make sure we knock this A tier out of the park. So, well, thank you guys. Thank you. Sorry, I know we kind of drew out this video a little bit, but it's important to go over all this stuff, being that we have almost 200 players here from I think 7 different states last time I counted it. So, really awesome for all of you to show up. Thank you for supporting cattle. Thank you for supporting basket bashers, and thank you for supporting everything that we try and do in this area. Um, with that, I think I will sign it off. Thank you, and I guess we'll see you this weekend.
Thanks, everybody.